Incredible moment. Single mom's last coins for bread exposed. CEO reveals life-changing gift. Sarah stood at the counter of the bakery, her fingers trembling as she counted out her last coins, just enough for a loaf of bread for her daughter's school lunch. The bustling shop was filled with sweet aromas and chattering families, but all she could focus on was the weight of each coin in her palm. Side glances from the cashier pierced her heart. Why can't it be easier? She thought, fighting back tears. She knew the mound of bills waiting at home further strained her stretched thin budget as a single mother. At that moment, every inhale felt tight in her chest, every exhale laced with desperation. As she turned to leave, a tall man bumped into her. The colliding force jolted her from her swirling thoughts. It was Mark, a successful CEO from the tech company just down the road. His sharp suit contrasted profoundly with Sarah's worn-out jeans and tired eyes. He caught a glimpse of the struggle etched on her face, a mosaic of exhaustion, worry, and determination. She muttered an apology, her cheeks hot as she ducked out of his line of sight. But while Sarah ventured home, the murmurs of a community began to weave around her struggles. Neighbors who once passed by her porch with casual smiles now couldn't help but notice the flicker of worry in her eyes. "Did you hear?" one woman whispered. "Sarah's having a tough time." Kind offers of help flowed in aid of baked goods and borrowed babysitting, but they always fell short of the heavy burden she carried alone. Just as a glimmer of hope broke through the gray clouds, Sarah faced yet another storm. She received a call from her manager at the diner. "I'm so sorry, Sarah, but we have to let you go." The words echoed in her mind long after she hung up. It was as if the ground beneath her feet had crumbled away, and all that was left was the gaping void of uncertainty and fear. Before we continue, I need to let you know about something important that's happening. YouTube has been making changes to the system, and many people are losing notifications from channels they follow. If you're enjoying the content, hit that bell and mark all notifications so you don't miss the next videos. And if you can drop a like, it really helps me with reach. Seriously, it makes a difference. Oh, let me know in the comments where you're watching from. I'm always curious to know who's on the other side of the screen. Now let's continue. Days turned into weeks, and in desperation, the community organized a fundraiser in her honor. Yet for all the kindness, the contributions barely touched the surface of what she needed. As she stood before a modest crowd one chilly Saturday, she felt exposed, like a branch stripped bare before the winter winds. This wasn't helping her, it was spotlighting her vulnerability. Mark, back in his office, scrolled through news on his phone and stumbled upon a viral piece about Sarah's plight. It struck a chord within him, forcing him to confront his own bubbles of privilege. Resolute, he reached out, not just to offer work, but a lifeline of mentorship and hope, a chance for Sarah to follow her dreams of opening a small business. But just as things began to shift, little Lily fell ill, and Sarah's heart sank deeper into turmoil. Caught between accepting help and her fierce independence, she faced an uncertain future. Heart pounding, she clutched her daughter's hand, knowing that the biggest challenge was on the horizon. The community was watching, but little did they know the most significant truth was waiting just around the corner. The hospital room smelled of antiseptic, a staleness that only heightened Sarah's anxiety. Lily lay in the bed, pale and small, with monitors beeping softly around her. Every beep counted the seconds as Sarah held her daughter's tiny hand, feeling the warmth slipping away. Fear twisted in her gut like a coiled snake, tightening its grip with every passing moment. "Mommy's here, baby," she whispered, forcing herself to smile through her worry. "You're going to be okay." But deep down, her voice trembled. Each flicker of movement from the nurse only amplified her dread, making the minutes stretch into an eternity. The doctor arrived, a stern yet compassionate face that radiated a mix of hope and caution. He explained Lily's condition, a brief sinus infection that had spiraled into something more serious. "We need to monitor her closely for a few days. She's going to be just fine, but it's going to be tough for a bit." Sarah nodded, feeling a flicker of relief but balanced with the weight of reality. Daily expenses surged, compounded by hospital bills she couldn't afford. "How will I manage?" she wondered, the darkness creeping back in. Days passed at the hospital, punctuated by moments of joy as Lily showed bursts of energy, yet equally marked by the weight of uncertainty. The nurses admired her spunk, a smile here, a small giggle there as she asked impossible questions about unicorns and rainbows. For Lily, the room was an adventure, but for Sarah, it was a reminder of everything she had fought to protect. As she settled into a stiff chair beside her daughter's bed, she remembered Mark. The thought of his gesture lingered in her mind like a beacon in the fog. Could she really embrace the help he offered? Each time she pondered it, fear twisted tighter around her heart. Would accepting his help mean she was admitting defeat? Was she throwing away her independence? Hours turned into sleepless nights as she wrestled with thoughts, her phone buzzing with messages of support from her community. They were ready to rally for her, but the thought of seeking help felt like a failure on her part. You can do this alone, she reminded herself, though the exhaustion began to dim her confidence. On the third night, as she leaned against the cold wall of the hospital room, she felt her phone vibrate again. It was a message from Mark, simple but powerful, thinking of you and Lily. Let me know if you need anything. Her heart skipped. The warmth spread through her like a glimmering ember. With a hesitant breath, she typed back, "Thank you, Mark. I could use some advice. It's been hard." The reply was quick, "Meet me for coffee tomorrow? I have ideas to share." The invitation ignited a flicker of hope, but with it came a rush of fear. Could she truly set aside her pride? Could opening up lead her down a path she had never imagined? As she put her phone down, her gaze shifted back to Lily, sleeping soundly. Sarah knew that her next decision could change everything. Just as the dawn began to break, painting the room with a soft glow, she felt a shift in her resolve. Maybe accepting help wasn't a step back but a leap forward, a chance to embrace a better future for both her and Lily. But as she prepared for the day ahead, uncertainty still lingered like shadows in the corners of her mind. Would she find the courage to take that first step toward the new life Mark envisioned? It loomed ahead, tempting and daunting, like the sun breaking through the dawn, casting light on everything she feared. As the morning light flooded the room, Sarah felt a mixture of hope and trepidation. The warmth enveloped her, coaxing her out of her restless thoughts, but anxiety still tugged at the corners of her mind. She glanced at Lily, her daughter's soft breathing a soothing rhythm against the backdrop of beeping machines. Today was going to be different. Today, she would meet Mark. After a quick shower at the hospital's family lounge, Sarah pulled on a clean sweater and tied her hair back. She took a deep breath, steadying herself for the conversation ahead. Would he understand how hard it was for her to accept help? Would he see her struggle for what it was, just a mother trying to cope with overwhelming circumstances? Lily stirred slightly, her eyelids fluttering open. "Mommy?" Her small voice broke the silence like a gentle chime. "Are you going out?" "Just for a bit, sweet pea." "I'll be right back," Sarah replied, smiling despite the flurry of emotions rolling inside her. "Okay." Lily's enthusiasm melted some of Sarah's tension. As she leaned in to give her daughter a peck on the forehead, she promised, "I'll bring you something special." The coffee shop was just a few blocks away, and as Sarah walked, the city buzzed around her. People hurried to work, children laughed on their way to school, the scent of fresh pastries wafted through the air. Each step was a delicate dance between anxiety and determination. Mark was already seated at a small table near the window when she arrived, his eyes lighting up at the sight of her. "Hey, you made it!" he said, standing up and pulling out a chair for her. "Thanks for inviting me," Sarah replied, her voice a whisper as she sank into the seat. "It feels good to be out, even just for a moment." Mark offered her a reassuring smile. "I wanted to see how you and Lily are doing. And I've been thinking about ways to help. Like we discussed." She nodded, uncertainty creeping back in. I don't want to impose on anyone. It feels wrong." "Sarah," he interrupted gently, "you're not imposing. You're allowing people to care about you. Every community thrives on support. Let me show you what I mean." He slid a folder across the table. "These are resources, local groups that help families like yours. Support networks, financial assistance programs. You're not alone in this." Her heart raced as she opened the folder. Page after page promised hope, relief, and a sense of unity. But with every word, a deep-rooted fear clutched at her throat. What would it mean to let other people in? But what will they expect from me? Nothing more than your willingness to accept help, Mark replied, his gaze steady and earnest. As she absorbed his words, a flicker of realization dawned on her. Perhaps leaning on others didn't mean she was weak. It could be a way to forge a path that was less lonesome, a pathway for both her and Lily. But just as she was beginning to feel something shift within her, her phone buzzed violently against the table. It was a message from the hospital. Instantly, her heart plummeted. "It's Lily," she blurted, her voice rising in urgency. "I have to." Mark reached across the table, his hand warm on hers. "Go. I'll be here when you get back. We can talk more then." With the folder clutched tightly to her chest, Sarah dashed back to the hospital, her heart racing. What had happened? Was her little girl in distress? As she sprinted through the halls, her mind spiraled with dread. The moment of truth was unfolding, and she could feel it in her bones. Would she find panic or reassurance on the other side of that hospital door? As the thought gripped her, she could only wonder if she was ready to face whatever awaited her. When she entered the room, the air shifted, and all she could think was, what has happened now? Sarah pushed the door open, the familiar sterile smell of antiseptic flooding her senses. Her heart pounded in her chest as she stepped inside. Her breath caught as she spotted Lily lying in the hospital bed, but something was off. The usual chaos of the room was muted, the beeping of machines blending into an ominous hum. Lily's eyes widened as they met her mother's. "Mom!" she called, her voice breaking through the heavy atmosphere. There was a look on her face that Sarah couldn't quite read. Was it fear, joy, or something more complex? "What happened?" Sarah rushed to Lily's side, gripping her daughter's hand. It was soft and warm, a comforting reminder that she was indeed there. "Mom, I was gonna surprise you. I wanted to make a card." Lily's words tumbled out, breathy and eager. "But then, I don't remember. I just felt woozy." Relief flooded through Sarah, but it was quickly shadowed by worry. "Woozy?" she asked, scanning the room for a nurse or doctor. "What do they say? Are you okay?" "They said I just need to rest," Lily said, her smile faltering slightly. "But guess what? They let me eat my favorite pudding." The sweetness of her daughter's words tugged at Sarah's heart, but an unease still gnawed at her. "What did they say about the wooziness?" Before Lily could respond, a nurse entered, clipboard in hand. She had a calm, reassuring presence that made Sarah relax just a little. "Hello, Sarah. I'm Nurse Joy. Your daughter had a small episode, but the doctor thinks it's nothing serious. Sometimes kids can feel faint with everything going on. We kept an eye on her, and she is stable now." "Thank God," Sarah sighed, her shoulders dropping. But Nurse Joy continued, her voice steady, "We want to monitor her a little longer. It's important we understand what caused the episode. We'll be doing some tests just to be safe." "Tests?" The word hung in the air like a heavy weight. Sarah nodded, unable to hide the tremble in her hands. Okay. Would you like me to stay with her during the tests?" the nurse offered, sensing the mother's distress. Lily's eyes flickered between them, searching for assurance. "Mommy, can I? It'll be like an adventure." "Of course, sweet pea," Sarah managed to say, tasting the bile of fear rising in her throat. She knew she had to trust the medical staff, but being separated, even for a short while, felt like a harsh reality. "I'll be right here," she promised, smoothing her daughter's hair back. As the nurse prepared to wheel Lily out, Sarah's mind raced. She remembered the folder Mark had given her. Those resources, that help. What if it could give her the strength to face these challenges? What if there were people ready to stand by her at this moment? That thought rattled around in her head, but fear clawed at her heart. Could she truly allow that kind of vulnerability? Nurse Joy paused, looking back at Sarah as if sensing her turmoil. "You're doing great, Mom. It's okay to be strong for her, and also allow yourself to feel what you need to feel." The heartfelt words pierced through Sarah's fog. Tears pricked at her eyes, but she blinked them away. The truth of it hit home. She could lean on others too. Perhaps this was a sign, a nudge pointing toward a change in her life. I'm going to get through this, she whispered quietly to herself, steeling her resolve. Lily smiled up at her, relief washing over her features as she was wheeled away. As the door clicked shut behind them, Sarah felt a renewed surge of determination. The tightness in her chest eased, and for the first time, she considered that perhaps opening up to Mark might lead to something transformative. But just as she steadied herself, her phone buzzed again in her pocket. The screen lit up with a message, drawing her attention away from her thoughts. It was from Mark. "Sarah, you okay? Want to talk?" Her heart skipped a beat. Should she respond, or was it too much too soon? Would she dare let him in? And with that internal tug-of-war echoing in her mind, she realized the stakes were higher than ever. What lay ahead could change everything or plunge her deeper into uncertainty. Sarah stood in the sterile hospital room, her heart still racing. The silence enveloped her, making the absence of Lily's laughter feel palpable. She clutched her phone, struggling to dampen the whirl of anxiety churning inside her. Mark's message blinked at her, a lifeline in the chaos, or perhaps just another reminder of everything she had kept at arm's length. She chewed her lip, contemplating her next move. The idea of responding to Mark filled her with a mix of warmth and fear. Could she really share her burdens, even now, when she felt so vulnerable? The thought of trying to sound strong, when all she wanted to do was crumble, felt impossible. "Mom, are you okay?" A voice came from the doorway. Sarah turned to see Nurse Joy appearing again, her kind face radiating concern. "Just thinking," Sarah admitted, her voice cracking under the weight of her worry. "I got a message from a friend." "Friends can be a great support," the nurse said gently, stepping closer. "You don't have to have all the answers right now. But I want to." "I need to be strong for Lily," Sarah said, shaking her head. "I can't show weakness." "You'd be surprised," Nurse Joy smiled softly. "Sometimes it takes more strength to be honest about what you're feeling. It's okay to let someone in." The nurse's words hung in the air, echoing in Sarah's mind. Just then, a lump formed in her throat as she thought of Lily lying in that bed, all alone. It hit her, how isolating this experience was, not just for her but also for her daughter. "I feel so lost," Sarah confessed, blinking back tears that threatened to spill. "I want to be a good mom, a perfect mom. But I don't even know how to handle this." Nurse Joy placed a reassuring hand on Sarah's shoulder. "You're already doing it by being here. Your presence matters more than anything, believe me. And you'll get through this," she encouraged. Relieving some of the tension in her chest, Sarah looked down at her phone again. For a moment, she considered putting it away. But instead, she opened Mark's message and typed her reply, "I'm struggling, but I'll be okay. Can we talk?" As the words left her fingers, a rush of fear washed over her. What if she vented her fears, only to be met with silence? But also, what if he responded with the support she desperately craved? A soft beep shattered her reverie. Nurse Joy glanced at the monitor. "Looks like Lily is coming back soon," she said. "Let us get ready to feel a little better." Heart pounding, Sarah swallowed her doubt, unwilling to let it consume her when her daughter needed her the most. She took a deep breath and steadied herself, her thoughts returning to Lily's bright smile above all else. Maybe this moment was the beginning of something different. Suddenly, her phone pinged again. Mark had responded, "I'm here for whatever you need. Always." Tears threatened to spill again, but this time, they were laced with something else, hope. As Sarah composed herself, she couldn't shake the feeling that this was just the start of a deeper journey, a path filled with challenges, but also with unexpected strength and connection. The door swung open, and Lily wheeled in, her cheeks flushing from the excitement and hospital lights. "Guess what, Mom? They said I was so brave. Can I have pudding again?" Sarah forced a smile, her heart swelling. "Of course. You're the bravest girl I know." Just as they settled, her phone buzzed again. It was Mark once more. "Let us grab coffee later and talk things through." The invitation was a lifeline, but the weight of what lay ahead threatened to pull her under. Could she truly immerse herself in this conversation, risking the possibility of opening old wounds? And what would it all mean for her and Lily? The horizon loomed with uncertainty, but as she watched Lily settle back in bed, a flicker of determination ignited within her. She had a decision to make. Would she embrace this chance, or retreat into her protective shell? Her heart raced at the possibilities, knowing the next steps could very well lead her toward a brighter, yet unpredictable, future. The room filled with the smell of antiseptic and faint echoes of distant beeping machinery, but it was the warmth of Lily's presence that anchored Sarah. As her daughter regaled her with tales of courage from the hospital staff, Sarah rubbed her tired eyes, fighting the weight of the day. Underneath her smile, doubt lingered. Could she leave Lily even for a moment to meet Mark? "Mom, did you hear me?" Lily's bright voice pulled Sarah back. "Yes, sweetheart, I did," Sarah replied, doing her best to mask the turmoil brewing within her. Each story, each giggle from Lily, drew her away from her worries, even if for just a moment. "You should have seen me. I got a sticker for being brave. Look!" Lily held up a colorful star sticker triumphantly, her eyes sparkling. "That's amazing, honey. You're a star." Sarah cheered, but her mind kept drifting. The idea of talking to Mark seemed intimidating yet also strangely appealing. As Lily continued talking, Sarah's gaze flickered to her phone. Mark's words echoed in her mind, "I'm here for whatever you need." She hesitated, the pull between needing support and fearing vulnerability growing stronger. In the hospital room, the chatter faded into background noise, and Sarah found herself studying her daughter's face. Lily's hope radiated like sunshine breaking through clouds. Wasn't that what all this was about? She wanted to be a source of strength for her daughter, not just a trembling figure waiting for the storm to pass. "Mom?" Lily asked, her voice softening. "Are you okay? You seem distracted." "Just thinking about us," Sarah responded, brushing her fingers through Lily's hair. It felt comforting, like a bridge between them. "We're going to get through this together." Moments passed. The vibrant energy of Lily's chatter faded into a sigh. The nurse entered, interrupting the silence. "Hey there, how are we doing?" Lily smiled, folded her hands together. "I'm brave." "Absolutely," the nurse laughed gently. "Let us keep you comfortable. You've earned a treat today." As the nurse adjusted the four, Sarah felt her heart swell. Little moments like this were beacons of hope. But as quick joy became heavy in her chest, Sarah realized that her own hopes were tied up in conversation with Mark. "I'll be back in a bit, Lil," Sarah said, needing space to breathe. "I just need a moment." "Okay, Mom. I love you." With a smile, Sarah left the room. The way to the waiting area felt endlessly long, echoing with the nervous drum of her heart. Her fingers danced over the screen of her phone, contemplating just how to convey everything swirling inside. She settled into a chair, the cool plastic uncomfortable against her skin. The world outside felt alive, while she was wrapped in a cocoon of fear. What was she really afraid of? She had to confront it. With a breath, she typed, "Can we meet sooner? I need someone to talk to." The send button felt like it weighed a ton, like it held her fears, hopes, and expectations. "Sent," she whispered to herself, staring at the screen, waiting. The message was met with an immediate reply. "Absolutely. When and where?" "Just outside the hospital." She typed quickly, feeling the mark worn, but the words carried more meaning than just a location. "Perfect. I'll be there in 10 minutes. It felt like eternity. Returning to Lily felt more daunting than ever, an appointment with honesty. The possibility of unearthing emotions she had buried underneath layers of strength loomed large. But deep down, the multiplication of hope began to surface as well. What would she find when she faced Mark? And more importantly, what would it mean for her and Lily? Outside, the sun dipped lower, casting long shadows on the pavement. Sarah took a deep breath, standing up. She was about to take a step into the unknown. Before she made her way back, she felt her phone buzz. Another ping. Mark's message was quick, "I'm here." With each step toward the exit, a flutter of hope mixed with fear took root inside her. She had opened a door, and whatever lay beyond was part of a journey they would take together. Yet lingering questions remained. Could she face the truths of her past to build this future? And above all, how would Lily react to this new part of her life unfolding? As she stepped out the door, the sun shining bright, she realized change was just around the corner. But would she be ready to embrace it when it came? The sun felt warm against her skin, a stark contrast to the icy knot in her stomach. Sarah stepped outside, the bright light momentarily blinding her. She squinted, trying to make out Mark's silhouette against the backdrop of the hospital. He stood tall, shoulders squared, waiting for her like a lighthouse in the fog. "Hey!" His voice cut through the sounds of the bustling street. He waved, a friendly smile breaking across his face. Sarah felt a crack in her defenses, a small surge of encouragement. "Hey," she replied, moving closer. Each step felt heavier as she approached. Mark leaned against the wall, his hands tucked in his pockets. "You look well as can be," he added, glancing at the entrance behind her. "How's Lily?" "She is hanging in there," Sarah said, her voice picking up a little warmth. "Braver than I am, I think." Mark nodded, his expression softening. "She is a fighter, just like her mom." The words floated between them, heavy with unspoken truths. Sarah felt an urge to spill out everything, the fear, the guilt, the relentless worry. But instead, she let the silence stretch. There was so much she wanted to say, yet she didn't know where to begin. "Want to grab a coffee or something?" he asked, sensing her hesitation. "I know you're in a rush, but I'm here. Whatever you need." Coffee. It felt almost normal, like a life outside of hospital walls. A part of her yearned for that semblance of normalcy, the kind that seemed to drift further away with every appointment. "Okay, sure," she responded, her voice tentative. As they walked, the city buzzed around them. The sound of laughter, engines revving, and cheerful chatter filled the air. It felt surreal to be away from the constant beeping and sterile smell of antiseptics. For a moment, Sarah let herself just be a mother, a woman, someone outside of her hospital bubble. "So, what's on your mind?" Mark asked as they settled into a small cafe, the rich aroma of coffee mixing with the sweetness of pastries. Sarah hesitated, then took a deep breath. "I'm scared, Mark. I don't know if I'm capable of handling everything thrown at me. Lily, I have to be strong for her, but I'm terrified all the time." Mark leaned in, his eyes intent on her. "It's okay to be scared. But you're not alone in this. I want to help. Just tell me how." The sincerity in his voice struck a chord deep within Sarah. This was what she needed, someone who didn't just want to console her but was ready to step alongside her in the chaos. Suddenly Mark's phone buzzed on the table, breaking the moment. He glanced at it, his expression shifting slightly. "Sorry, 1SEC," he said, thumb flying over the screen. Sarah watched him, her heart racing. What was the next step? Questions bubbled in her mind, swirling with hope and doubt. Could he truly be someone she could lean on? What if this wasn't what she thought it was? When Mark looked back up, she noticed a shade of worry flicker across his face. "I should take this." "It's work," he said, standing up. "I'll just be a moment." As he stepped away, Sarah felt a strange emptiness settle in his absence. For a heartbeat, uncertainty flooded her thoughts. This could be a chance to change everything, or it could leave her even more alone than before. The door chimed softly as another customer entered, but she barely noticed. All she could think about was the time they spent together, the possibility of a future that seemed so close yet so far. When Mark returned, a cloud of urgency overshadowed the lightness they had shared. "I'm sorry," he said, running a hand through his hair. "I need to go back. Something came up at the office. Can we talk more later?" "Of course," Sarah replied, keeping her voice steady. But inside, a storm roared. Just as hope started to bloom, it felt stripped away, leaving only uncertainty in its place. As they walked back towards the hospital, Sarah felt the weight of the day pressing down once more. Unfolding emotions from their conversation clung to her. Could she truly allow someone to be part of this turmoil? Would Mark be there when things got tough, Or was this just a fleeting moment in time? Before they reached the hospital entrance, Mark paused. I'll check in later, alright? Just remember you don't have to hide behind strength all the time, he said gently. It's okay to lean on me. Okay. The word felt heavy, as though it carried the weight of the world. As Mark turned to leave, Sarah noticed her reflection in the glass of the entrance. She looked weary, yet she realized something else was waiting to emerge, a flicker of determination amidst the fear. Could she embrace the support offered, or would she retreat into her old habits? The question hung uncomfortably in the air as she stepped inside, Lily's laughter ringing out like music against the sterile background. This was her life, battling fear to build a brighter tomorrow. But beneath it lay those tantalizing thoughts of connection, of hope. And now, as she stood facing her daughter, Sarah couldn't shake the feeling that everything was about to change in ways she couldn't yet see. Would she be ready to grasp that change when it finally arrived? As Sarah stepped into the hospital, her heart still drumming in her chest, she was greeted by the familiar sights and sounds of the ward. The walls, painted in soft shades of blue, felt both comforting and suffocating. Lily's laughter echoed down the corridor, a vibrant thread weaving through the sterile air, grounding Sarah in the present. Mom! Lily's voice rang out, her bright smile lighting up the gloom that had settled around Sarah since the diagnosis. The little girl was perched on the edge of her bed, her forestand next to her, looking far too small beneath the bright white sheets. Hey, sweetheart! Sarah forced a smile, though her chest tightened at the sight of Lily's frail figure. Guess what? I painted a picture. Lily's excitement shimmered through the unease. She gestured wildly, the tubes attached to her hand clinking softly, as if they were cheering along. Really? I can't wait to see it. Sarah's heart swelled, and for a moment, the heaviness of the afternoon slipped away. She moved to Lily's side, settling down on the edge of the bed. It's about us. And a rainbow. Lily grinned, the innocence of her joy lighting up her features. I wanted to make it extra colorful, just like you said. Just like I said? Sarah echoed, warmth spreading through her. Well, let me tell you, it sounds beautiful already. Lily, more animated than Sarah had seen in days, reached for the rolled-up drawing tucked under her pillow. She unfurled it with care, her eyes sparkling with pride. The crude strokes of crayon created a chaotic but heartfelt image. There was a stick-figure mom with curly hair and a stick-figure daughter, hand in hand beneath a towering rainbow. It's perfect, Lily! Sarah beamed, her voice trembling with emotion. Do you like it? Lily asked, biting her lip, worry shadowing her enthusiastic expression for a brief moment. Like it? I love it! I'll hang it right on the fridge when we get home. The emotional weight that threatened to drown Sarah was momentarily lifted, and she allowed herself to savor the joy that came from this moment. But then, like a wave crashing back, the reality of their situation crept in. Sarah couldn't ignore the whispers of doubt. The treatment cost, the endless fear of the unknown, and the darkness lurking at the corners of the day. Mom, are you okay? Lily asked, her voice small suddenly. It was as if she sensed the storm brewing within her mother. I am, I promise. Just a little tired, Sarah said, brushing a stray hair behind her ear. Lily nodded, but there was a hint of skepticism in her large brown eyes, the same eyes that mirrored Sarah's own. You can tell me if you're sad, you know? Sarah felt her throat tighten. I know, sweetheart. And it helps when you brighten my day like this. She pulled her daughter into a warm hug, their bodies fitting together like two pieces of a puzzle. Just then, the door creaked open, and in walked Nurse Carla with her clipboard, the shuffling sound of paperwork filling the room. Hey there, Lily! And look who's here! Hi, Nurse Carla! Lily chirped, her earlier worries forgotten. Good to see you, Sarah said, a hint of relief washing over her. A routine check could bring good news or bad, but as long as they faced it together, they could handle it. Time for your vitals, Carla said, taking a seat beside Lily, her touch gentle and professional. How are we feeling today? As Nurse Carla began her assessment, Sarah's mind drifted back to her conversation with Mark. Where was he now? Did he really mean it when he said she didn't have to hide her fear? In that moment, while Lily giggled with Nurse Carla, Sarah felt a flicker of hope ignite once more. Maybe this was the start of accepting help, not just from Mark, but allowing herself to be vulnerable, to lean on others as well. Mom? Lily's voice cut through the haze. Yes, darling? Promise me you won't be sad anymore. I promise, sweet girl, Sarah said, her heart swelling with determination. I'll do my best. But as her daughter beamed, her resolve was punctured by the fear that if things didn't turn around, could she really keep that promise? The room was alive with quiet laughter and the beeping of machines, but Sarah couldn't shake the looming uncertainty. Would hope turn into reality, or would fear swallow everything whole? As the nurse wrapped up, Sarah gazed out the window, the late afternoon sun casting long shadows. Would she have the strength within to confront whatever came next? Just then, a thought sparked. What if the unexpected change she felt was about to intensify? Would she seize it, or would she retreat into her fears? That question lingered, heavy and significant, as Sarah sat with her daughter, the laughter and warmth wrapping around them like a blanket, keeping the shadows at bay. Would she be ready when the time came for a leap of faith? The sun dipped lower, bathing the hospital room in a warm glow, and for the first time that day, Sarah felt a gentle shift in her heart. Maybe it was the relief of just being with Lily, her laughter washing over the worries that clung to her, or perhaps it was the painting that had captured, so vividly, their bond. Sometimes it was the simple things that could lift the heaviest burdens. All right, I need your help, Sarah said suddenly, a mischievous grin creeping onto her face. Let us plan our escape from this place. Lily's eyes lit up, sparkling with the excitement of a toy prize. What do you mean? I mean, Sarah leaned in closer, lowering her voice conspiratorially as if sharing a grand secret, when you're all better, we're going to have a picnic. Just us. We'll take your rainbow picture and hang it on a tree for all the birds to see. Can we bring sandwiches? And juice? Lily asked, bouncing a little on the bed. Of course, Sarah answered, her heart fluttering at the thought of that day. The day when they could leave the confinement of these sterile walls and breathe fresh air again. We'll bring all your favorites. You'll be my little picnic partner. Can I wear my sparkly dress? Lily asked excitedly. Absolutely. Sparkles for days. Sarah chuckled, allowing her own smile to widen. In that moment, the weight of uncertainty lifted just a little. As Nurse Carla completed the checkup, she smiled at the pair. Looks like you two are planning quite the adventure. Oh, we are, Lily declared, her voice bubbling with enthusiasm. It was infectious, and Sarah found herself lost in her daughter's joy. Just remember, Nurse Carla said, glancing at the clipboard, it'll take some time and care before that picnic happens. But you both have what it takes. Lots of strength and love. Strength, right. Lily exclaimed, nodding. And love. Sarah's heart tightened. Love was easy, it was the strength that felt elusive, still hiding in the shadows that stalked her thoughts. After the nurse left to wrap up her notes, the room returned to a comfortable silence. Sarah watched Lily as her daughter fiddled with the 4-line and then turned her gaze outside, looking at the shifting colors of the sky. Mom, Lily said after a moment, her voice soft. Will you promise me something? Anything, sweet girl. Promise me you'll believe in our picnic, as much as I do. Sarah's breath caught. It struck her how Lily sought the same reassurance she longed for. I promise, she said firmly, her voice steady. I'll believe in it more than anything else. Good. Lily cheered. Because it'll be the best picnic ever, I just know it. And then we can draw even more rainbows together. A laughter bubbled up within Sarah, raw and genuine. The kind that came when love and hope collided. That's the spirit. Just then, the door swung open again, revealing Mark, his face brightening at the sight of them. Hey, I hope I'm not interrupting. I brought something. Lily's eyes widened. What? Mark approached, holding a small bag. I thought you might want a surprise. He reached inside and pulled out a colorful, oversized notebook. For more rainbow drawings. Lily squealed, practically bouncing off her pillow. Thank you, Mark. This is perfect. As Sarah watched her daughter light up, a familiar pang of warmth mixed with the sudden jolt of fear. Had Mark truly come to offer friendship and support, or was this moment just a fleeting distraction? Is this for us to share? Sarah asked, her voice steady but guarded. She needed to know what Mark's intentions were. To create more memories together? Of course, Mark replied, his gaze settling on Sarah. This is just the beginning. We're in this together, remember? In that moment, Sarah felt as if the world had expanded. The fears that had hovered over her began to recede, and for once, she felt a glimmer of hope that things might just shift in their favor. But behind that hope lingered a haunting question. What would she do if the shadows returned? Lily, Sarah said softly, our adventure really is just beginning, isn't it? And while the laughter echoed around her deep inside, she couldn't help but wonder if she was truly ready for the journey ahead. Because the next chapter would hold far more than just picnics and rainbows. It would require courage to confront unexpected twists that life always seemed to throw their way. The hospital room felt different today, lighter somehow, as if hope had slipped through the cracks and settled in the hearts of both Sarah and Lily. The sun streamed through the window, kissing the walls with warmth, a sign that something good was on the horizon. After the chaotic weeks, they were finally making waves toward a brighter future. Sarah sat by Lily's bed, their colorful notebook spread across her lap, filled with bright drawings of rainbows, unicorns, and picnic scenes. The laughter they shared echoed softly within the sterile walls, transforming the space into a haven. Each stroke of crayon infused a bit of joy, which reassured Sarah that they could find moments of happiness amidst the storms. Look, Mom! We can add more color here! Lily exclaimed, her small fingers radiating excitement as she tapped the page, her eyes sparkling. It's beautiful, sweet pea, Sarah grinned, feeling warmth spread across her heart. She gently pulled her daughter close for a quick hug. No one could draw rainbows like you. But as they colored, Sarah thought of Mark and the promise of support he represented. A shift had begun within her. The fight to let others in was rough and messy, but she felt tethered to something real. Just then, the door swung open, and Mark stepped in. Good morning, my favorite artists, he declared, a genuine smile illuminating his face. Mark! They chimed in unison. Guess what? I brought breakfast. He held up a few warm pastries, their delightful scents puffing through the room and cutting through the mundane hospital air. Yay! Croissants! Lily squealed, fire igniting back into her cheeks. As Mark handed over the treats, Sarah's heart fluttered. She still clung tightly to her hesitation, but perhaps today was the day to let the walls come down just a little. You've both been so brave. I thought a little celebration was in order, Mark said, his gentle demeanor inviting warmth. And I was hoping we could brainstorm about your business idea, Sarah. I have some resources about grants available for single parents wanting to start something small. The word business made Sarah's stomach flip yet again, yet it was laced with an unexpected thrill. It was a nudge toward hope, a step into a world she didn't dare to dream about. I'd like that, she finally replied, the tremble of both excitement and fear threading through her. You should see her drawings, Lily interjected, pride spilling into her words. We're gonna have the best picnic ever too. That sounds amazing, Mark beamed down at Lily. I bet it'll be legendary. How about I help plan it too? Sarah's heart swelled with tenderness as she looked between them. Two bright souls, both lifting her with their light. As they began to eat pastries and share laughter, Sarah felt a shift. It was subtle yet palpable, as though pieces of her heart were clicking into place. Here, in this small room surrounded by sterile walls, connections were weaving together not just with Mark and Lily, but within herself. Days turned into weeks, and with each passing moment, Sarah leaned more into the support offered. The community that once felt like a burden began to feel like a soft blanket of love. When the hospital released Lily, they were both ready to take their first steps into a new world. On the day of their picnic, flowers blossomed in parks, children's laughter echoed around them, and Sarah felt a vibrant surge of gratitude. They arrived at a charming little spot under a shady tree with a view of a small pond. Mark joined them, carrying a basket filled to the brim with all of Lily's favorite treats. "This is going to be the best day ever," Lily chirped, bouncing in excitement as she helped Sarah spread out the blanket on the grass. As they settled down, Mark shared ideas about the business, sparking imagination in Sarah's mind. They talked, laughed, and enjoyed simple pleasures. Sarah watched the connection grow between Mark and Lily, an unexpected friendship blossoming, an unbreakable bond forming. "Okay, who's ready for the ultimate surprise?" Mark asked, grinning. He pulled out a rainbow kite from the basket. "Wow, can we fly it?" Lily squealed, eyes wide with wonder. The three of them raced to the open field, with Mark holding the string while Sarah and Lily hopped around in celebration. As the kite soared high against a backdrop of blue, Sarah found her gaze shifting to Mark. He had helped her see light in the shadows that once consumed her life. Later that day, as they sat under the sprawling tree, Sarah smiled down at Lily, who was humming a little song, blissfully unaware of the heavy burdens they'd tackled together. "I want to thank you for being here," Sarah told Mark, sincerity woven into her voice. "You helped me find strength I didn't know I had." "You did the work, Sarah," he replied earnestly. "And the journey has only just begun. Lean on me when you need to, but don't forget how brave you are." As she listened, Sarah realized she was ready to embrace this new life, one with the courage to ask for help when she needed it. She was redefining strength, moving forward in the company of those who loved her, who made her feel safe. The sunshine filtered through the leaves, enveloping them in warmth and hope. A brilliant new chapter bloomed in her heart, filled with rainbows, laughter, and the promise of limitless potential. It was time to lean into love, into community, and into life. So joined Sarah and Lily in this new journey, learning, growing, embracing the power of transformation together. And you don't want to miss what's coming next. Subscribe immediately to the channel to not miss the next exclusive stories. Leave a like now to feed the algorithm and help us bring more heartwarming tales. Comment your reactions and feelings about this ending. We want to hear from you. Share instantly this video with at least 5 friends who need to see this transformation because they deserve a dose of hope too. This is the moment to show your support. You need to subscribe now and be part of our amazing community. Don't wait not even one more second to share. Let us spread the love.